Hello, Hero Collectors here. How's it going, everybody? Hope y'all are doing fantastic. I know I am, because once again, it's time for a display update. I've got quite a few figures that need to go on the display, some figures that I actually pulled out of bins to go up on the display, and just a few accessories that I need to throw around. So let's turn around. I've got everything sorted. Let's take a look. Alrighty, this is everything out on the table that I plan to put up, except for these. These figures over here are all newer that I just picked up recently that I want to get, videos, pictures taken, so they're not going up quite yet. But this is everything else that's going up. So, except also for these. These two right here, this Ultimate Cap and Iron Man, will not be going up on the actual displays, but I think the cap will probably go up here on my side display. So, then we have, of course, the Gamerverse Darth Maul. He is going to go on the Star Wars shelf. These AIM Troopers, Nighthawk, Blur, and Yelena, they're all going on my villain shelf. Clea, and Capwolf, who I pulled out of a storage bin, they will be going up on my mystical shelf. Then Chodbath, Corsair, Fang, and Silver Surfer will all be going up on my Cosmic Heroes shelf. And actually, I pulled this Silver Surfer down to go with my Fantastic Four, and then that Silver Surfer will be going up in the Cosmic Shelf. Then we got Puff Adder, Orb, and Egghead. Those will be going in my Minor Villain shelf, the ones that, don't have the big goals and aspirations like, say, Doctor Doom. We got Tarantula and the Rose. Those are going to go in my Spidey Villains. Got the new X-Men 97 Cyclops and Kid Omega. They're going to go in my X-Men core team display. Iron Man and Thor, they're going in my MCU Overflow. Batman's going in my miscellaneous shelf. These three Transformer Yellow Park figures, they're going down with my movie Transformers. Then you can see Multiple Man, Madeline. Those are going to go in the X-Villain shelf. And then I also pulled my Sentinel Prime, or is it Prime Sentinel? I forget her name, but from the HasLab. And my Jason Wingard out of storage bins to go back up on the display. And of course, Franklin, Valeria, and is it Turg? They're all going on the Fantastic Four. Vision here will go on my Avengers display, and actually I'll be removing the Retro Vision. And then just as a few accessories, I realized I didn't give Gambit his bow staff. I want to put this Cletus Cassidy head on one of my Carnages in the display. And then Miss Lion is here because I want to set up a Pet Avengers in one part of the display, probably with my younger heroes. So that's where all of them are going, and that is everything. The biggest shelf that I think is going to see a change is my X-Villain shelf. I've been really thinking about it, and I don't like the way it's arranged. Mostly the characters in the middle, kind of front. Actually, here, if I get closer. Okay, so basically, from Dark Beast here, going back to Mojo, and where Caliban is, coming across Blob, Cyber, and I think Silver Samurai. Basically, all of these I'm just going to pull out and then rearrange everything to better fit where I want all these figures to be. Plus, integrate the new characters and make room for the newer Sabretooth, because that one's actually going to get removed. So, yeah, it's time. I will waste no more time talking. Let's update this display. Alrighty guys, it's been a few days. You can see that I have made some progress. I'm just down to the displays that are going to take the most rearranging. So we've got the X-Villains, the Cosmic Heroes, and the Villains really left. These are the few figures that won't be going on the display, but actually two that I removed, which are Vision and Cyclops. because I've put the newer Vision over on the Avengers shelf and the X-Men 97 Cyclops there on the X-Men shelf. Now, there's a couple things like this update isn't just about what's not on the display yet, but I want to bring up this. So I've been floating some ideas around in my head, and Ultimate Cap here, if it would properly focus on him, it's still not it. But Ultimate Cap here got me thinking about displaying some Ultimate figures, like actually have a proper Ultimate Universe display. Which brings me over here to what I call my Legacy Heroes shelf. It's my young character shelf. So, uh, my thought is if I take this shelf, smush all these guys closer to this side, I could potentially fit a small Ultimates display right there. I'm thinking, I think I'm going to try it. I'm going to experiment here. If I don't like it, I'll take it down. But I just wanted to kind of share my thoughts with you because this randomly popped into my head while I was at work today. I was like, maybe this could work as an extra display mixed in with one that's not quite full. So I want to test that out. But that's not the only kind of thing I've got floating around in my mind. So you see down here in my symbiotes display to what would be the left of Venom Pool, the Bath Venom Pool back there, right there, I have the Bath Monster Venom. I think that would work pretty great as a Gamerverse Venom from Spider-Man 2, the most recent Spider-Man video game. So I think I'm going to remove him and put him up here with my other media display, which is basically non-MCU movies and games. So I think that's going to go up there, and I'm going to move my Gamerverse stuff with it. And then this is something a little random. I don't usually talk about these too much, but I have a handful of these 3 and 3.75 figures. Actually, this is a really bad example because it's a larger card. But I have just a handful of these just to represent a few characters. And my thinking is I've got some extra command strips with hooks. I want to display these right here. So I want to hook those here, kind of double up. I think I've got enough room to double up on them, and just kind of have them go down this shelf to add a little bit more to the display. So just had a few things I wanted to, just kind of float my thinking by you guys as it develops, and I think I'm gonna try that Ultimates display. That means I'm gonna have to remove some figures from the display, as I have like Ultimate Green Goblin down on my Spidey villains. I would remove my 3 Ultimate Spideys in this display, and I'd probably remove the Spider-Man symbiote suit from the symbiotes display. I'd have to get Sandman out of a box, so I would have to do a little rearranging, but I think it might work. So yeah, just a little update. I've got some more work to do here, but I think I'm going to attempt those couple other things as well to help spruce up the display and have more things to display. So, all right, I will check back in with you when there's more progress made. All right, another check-in. I've actually made a lot of progress. I now have the villain shelf all taken care of. You can see that up there. Got the Cosmic Heroes taken care of. At the end of the video, I'm going to take you through all the new updates, but here's everything that was taken off the shelf. So Sabretooth was, of course, because I've got a new Sabretooth here. Same with Cyclops and Vision. And actually Yelena as well, because we have that newer one from the Puff Adder wave. And then the Iron Man I just don't have a spot for right now. And I'm really sad to pull all the Ultrons off the shelf. That really made me sad. But I think I'm going to squeeze them in up here and have a little Ultron army. But yeah, that leaves me down to just Ultimate Cap here, but I need to pull out the rest of my Ultimate figures, pull the ones that are in the display off the display, and we will take a crack at turning that Legacy Hero shelf into a joint shelf, and then work on putting these retro cards up on the side of the shelf. So that will be the next part of this update, and then once I'm done with all of that, I'll take you through everything and in better lighting. So, again, just a quick check in. Next clip should be everything taken care of, or at least all the Ultimate figures on the desk so you can see who all's going up there before they go up there. So, yeah, we'll cut to that now. Okay, just a quick update. The last like two clips you saw was me working late last night, but I basically pulled out all the figures that I'm going to use for the Ultimate display. And then I realized that I was going to put Demo Goblin on his glider now that Ultimate Goblin is out of the Spider-Man display, or the Villains display. And I completely spaced on pulling this Venom out of the display to go with my Gamerverse stuff. So, still a little bit more work to do than I originally thought, or than I thought last night. But now these are all out. It's time to update these shelves, and then we're going to go through everything that got updated and call it a video. Alrighty, no more check-ins, no more quick updates. The display is complete, and let's take you through it. So, with the Ultrons that I pulled off the villain shelf, I decided to add them to my current Ultron display over here. And so I just moved a few figures up, and now they are over on this side display. And basically through this, I'm just going to only show you what has been changed with the collection, or the display, I should say. I'm not going to be taking you through the whole display. So, up here on the MCU Overflow, we have Dark World Thor in the background there. If it would focus, there we go. And he joined all his fellow Thor figures. And then Mark II got added right here in front with Tony Stark and the Mark III. So that is what's updated there. And now we come down here to the comic villains shelf. This would be the main villains. So I gotta remember here. Okay. So Nighthawk and Blur got added to the Squadron Supreme. You can see everybody kind of got moved around a bit. AIM agents got added in back there by MODOK. And Yelena got added to my Hydra figures, as you can see there. And yeah, I think that's everybody new for this shelf. But the landscape kind of changed. I actually think I prefer it how it looks now because I was able to rearrange some teams to be a bit more together, and I think it just looks a lot better than it did now. So there is my villains display. Down here, the Fantastic Four display got updated. I added in Franklin and Valeria. And then you also got Turg there. I left a nice space in between the Dan Slott team and the new Fantastic Four because we're getting those Wolverine and Spider-Man Fantastic Four figures, and those will go right there. And then I took my Silver Surfer that I had on the Cosmic display, and I scooted him down here, and I just have Norrin enjoying the cosmic, the cosmic landscape. He always loves looking at the stars, so that's how I have him displayed there. So yeah, that is the updated Fantastic Four shelf. Now let's scoot down here to what I call the minor villains shelf. These are all the villains that just don't have those world domination goals, or are just more focused on money or a small grudge, Back here we have where I added Puff Adder to the Serpent Society. You can see him. It's kind of blocking Armadillo, but that is okay. And then you can see that I added Egghead next to Black Ant over here. And then we have the Orb just kind of in the middle of everything. Those are the only two new additions here. Very crowded shelf. Lots of villains in the collection. I don't know what I'm going to do if I get any more villains for this shelf and the major villains up above. So, anyway, moving down. Ooh, this is going to be a little hard to see. Let me see if I turn on my lamp down here. There we go. Blinding lights. Basically, I had a few G.I. Joes down here. I ended up selling those off. And then I added the Ben Affleck Batman McFarlane figure that I just got. So everything kind of got to rearrange. Got more space to kind of display everything. So that's the main change there. Alrighty, now we're up in the Cosmic Heroes display. Let's see. Corsair and Chod got added to the back there. I figured since they're part of a team, I should put them around with the Guardians. So they went there. Fang is up here in front until I get Lilandra. He's just kind of chilling on his own. And then I added the Fallen Silver Surfer to this display, and he's on the Galactus display base that the other Silver Surfer came with. So I think those are the only new additions there. Not a lot of rearranging, just kind of had to scoot a few figures around just to fit everything in, but that is how that looks. Nothing new in my Core Avengers display. So I'm just going to scoot my stool off to the side there, and we're going to move into my X-Men villains, which got a whole redesign, and it's a crowded shelf. I got a lot of figures in there, so figure that I already owned from a while back, but it's the female Sentinel Prime. I just kind of worked her in there next to Bastion, which if you've been watching X-Men 97, Bastion's kind of important now. I worked Jason Wingard back in so that he can be with the rest of his Hellfire crew. And we got a couple multiple men that I got. Got Madeline Pryor. There's a nice gap there right in front of Blob. That'll be where the new Sabretooth figure goes, because I removed the first appearance Sabretooth to fit him in there. And yeah, you can just kind of see where everything's rearranged. I think in terms of newer figures, we already went over Madeline and the multiple men, so that is what's changed there. And now let's scoot down to my Spider-Man villains display. The only new additions here, I believe, are Tarantula and the Rose, and you can see them right there. The Rose I kind of put with all my gangsters, and then the Tarantula is just kind of in with the goofy villains. And then I did pull the Demo Goblin glider out, and so now he's on his glider back there. That might be swapped out when we get the new Jack-o'-lantern. I might put him back in that corner, or kind of move those three around. I don't know. We'll see. And I do have a gap here because I want to put Hollow's Eve right there with Chasm. Speaking of that wave, that tombstone that you see in front of Kingpin, he'll get removed for the new tombstone. And yeah, Jack-o'-lantern, I need to figure out what I'm going to do. But just kind of my future plans for that setup. Nothing really changed on the Spidey shelf, except I removed the Ultimate Universe figures, and then I swapped in a Gamerverse Miles to still represent Miles on this display, so that's new there. X-Men, let's see, we got Kid Omega off to the side here, just kind of joining my roster. If it would focus, there you go. I swapped out my Cyclops, so it's now the X-Men 97 Cyclops in this display. And I gave Gambit his bow staff. So that is that. Setup all updated. Okay, I was about to move on and go higher up on the shelf, but I forgot about the Yellow Park figures. So now they are down here in the live action Transformers display, just kind of chilling. That's where my G1 base Megatron is for now. Eventually, these guys will get their own display, and yeah, they're just gonna kind of scoot in other places for now. But let's move on over here to my street level and my mystical shelf. I think the only new additions here were Clea and Capwolf. I think I just added him because I wanted to fit him on the display. And then, of course, Clea, she's brand new. Had to put her next to Doctor Strange. So there is that. Nothing new up there. Let's go ahead and move up. Whoa. Not knocking anything over. Up to my movie multiverse display. This has changed a lot, actually. As you can see, the top row of this riser hasn't really changed. It's still Spider-Verse, but I kind of carried down the Spider-Verse villains. And then that kind of bleeds into my movie X-Men stuff. So you just kind of see all of those together. And with that recent Wolverine and Deadpool re-release, I'm going to get that Wolverine. And then I'm going to have an extra. I'm actually going to take the parts from this Logan back here. Let's focus. And put those on that figure. And then have this be a more casual Logan movie Wolverine. So as you can see, Charles, Lizard. There's that Monster Venom that I'm using as Game Reverse Venom, fighting Miles. Got my Ghost Rider. And you got those two. And then, of course, Spider-Ham. And then the more live-action Spider-Man stuff. Yeah. So, no new figures here, just kind of swapping around figures to find new homes. That would focus and not be blinding. That'd be great, but okay. Nothing new in the MCU multiverse, but let's go to my young characters and then my now Ultimates display. So yeah, nothing new in terms of young characters, young teams, but I did add the small display of Pet Avengers. It would focus properly. There we go. Yeah, Miss Lion, Lockheed, and I'm blanking on the cat's name, but small little Pet Avengers display. And then as you come over here, we've got my Ultimate Universe display. So, got the Ultimate Goblin, we got the Raft Sandman, Vulture, whose wings are a little rough. They've been in a bin for a while, so they've got some scuffage. That's okay. Got Cap, and then all the Spideys. So, that is fun. So, since I took the Miles off of this display, I'm going to actually take the 10th anniversary sweatshirt Miles that came in the retro wave and put that on this shelf once I'm done taking photos. So that's where Miles will go next. You can see the display right there. Nothing's changed in the X teams. All that's changed in the symbiotes is just removing those two figures, the Monster Venom and then the Ultimate Spider-Man. Oh, and I did add the Cletus Cassidy head to that Carnage, so that's new. And then the only addition to my Star Wars display is putting Maul right there with Kanan, Ezra, and the Inquisitor for the Rebels display. So yeah. But that is not all. Let's get at a good angle here. And boom, yes, I put the 3 3/4-inch retro carded figures on the side of the display. You can see them just kind of hooked there. I don't buy all of these. I only get a handful, few characters I want represented. And I just kind of have them on display. So I think that is a nice addition. Helps break up all the white on the shelving. So yeah, that is the display update. It's been just a couple months since the last one, but things are always changing. I'm always getting new figures. You can already see I've got a nice pile of figures starting up here. I've got stuff on the way as I'm speaking right now. Lots of changes I'm thinking about maybe putting a small little shelf display over where Galactus and Sentinel are. So we'll see what happens with that. Yeah, ever changing, ever expanding, ever collecting, and I'm always sharing. So I hope you all enjoyed the video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, I will talk to you all in another video, another post, another time.